Vorello Vision. I'm excited to introduce today's guest, Sue Gibson, who's doing amazing work in her industry. Thanks for joining me, Sue. For those
Pleasure.
for those who may not know you, could you give us a quick background on who you are and what it is that you do?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Jet. Yeah, I'm Sue Gibson, and I'm with a company called SLG Senior Care. It's my own company, and I do senior placement, which is helping families find assisted living, memory care, and board and care facilities for their loved ones when it's no longer safe for them to be at home. So I come in, I meet with the family, and I understand what is going on with their loved one. And I am a matchmaker. I find the perfect match between the family's loved one and a care facility that is going to be able to take care of them. And what's interesting is I come in at times that are important for the family. It could be very early on, before there's a real need, or it could be when the loved one is in the hospital and the doctor says they can't go home and it's urgent. They must find a place within 2 or 3 days, and I can do that for them. So there's different triggers that will cause me to be coming in and working with the family. It could be that the person has Alzheimer's or dementia and they're wandering, and the family can no longer take care of them because they're leaving the home. So I end up coming in and helping out the family to find them a place because that's a locked facility because they can no longer be at home safe because they're walking out the door. So I understand all of these situations. I've dealt with over 1,000 clients in my 11 years, and I am, like I say, the matchmaker.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Sue. Yeah, I seen it on your website, and anybody else that can go and check it out. I'll put the link in the description. But I seen that you do have over 11 years in placement experience with this, which is fantastic. And then also 20 years in healthcare marketing and a bunch of other stuff. That kind of leads me to ask, what drew you into this type of work? Like let's backtrack to 11, 12 years ago, right? Sue, she's doing her other work, her other jobs, whatever, and she's thinking of something to do, right? She wants to be her own boss. She wants to be that business owner she's, always thought of. Just have more time or whatever the case may be. What kind of led you into not only placement, but this type of industry specifically?
Right. Well, two things actually did that, Jet. One was I was in corporate America. I had a healthcare background, a healthcare MBA. I spent 20 years developing online educational programs for doctors and clients. And I wanted to leverage that healthcare experience into something, but I did want to get out of corporate America. So I met with a franchise broker and I had some money. And I said, I have this money and I have this experience. Please find me something that I can do with it. And he came back with about 5 ideas, and one of them was placement and to get into a franchise. And I thought that was a great idea because it would be business in a box, ready to go, and proved to be very fruitful because I literally was up and running within 3 months and making money. And it truly was a great idea. And I did it for a number of years with great success. The other reason why I did it, though, was my father had Parkinson's disease and was living in Canada. And I had to fly up to Canada and literally extract him from the home, take him to the hospital in Canada, and get him checked in there with the support of his neurologist. And he literally was there for 6 months waiting for a care facility that he could be admitted to. But I actually had to get him out of the home, or my mother's health was suffering taking care of him. And I see this time and time again where caregivers are suffering because they are caring for loved ones, and it's their health that's even more at risk than that of their loved ones. So that was a very, very challenging situation that I faced. And I said, I want to be there to help families when this is happening to them.
Yeah, I love that. Like not only you've seen the business opportunity, but you thought of your past, right, with your dad and stuff. And my grandmother, she has Parkinson's as well, right? So she's gotten it's gotten a lot better over the past few years. Praise Jesus for that. Like I thank him every day that she's actually a lot better than she was a few years ago. But it seemed like not only did you see the business opportunity, but you took something from your past and put it into almost sort of a passion, but realized that, you got the money to start it. It's almost like a business in a box, and it was kind of proven at that point. All right. So with you, I know you said you've seen success within a few months, but let's say somebody were watching this right now, they wanted to start a placement business like today, like they want, or like, around this time. Do you think it would be as easy to start a placement business, doesn't matter what industry, in today's world rather than, 10 plus years ago? Or do you think it was a little easier back then with your knowledge and your experience and your budget? Or could you fill me in on that a little bit?
Well, I think it was a little easier when I started because it was a little less competitive. There were less franchises, there were less individuals doing it. When I started in County, there were about four or five of us. There's probably more than a dozen people today there, although I'm not in that county anymore. I left and I'm now in San Luis Obispo County. But in San Luis Obispo County, um, there is about four or five of us, about five of us today that do that. Um, so it is more competitive today.
Yeah.
It's easier in some ways to get into it today because there's more franchises you can access. There's also some companies out there that will train you if you want to just do it on your
Yeah.
own. So that is an available option as well. So if you do want to just do it on your own, you don't want to pay franchise fees, etc. There's some folks out there you can just hire for $10,000, $15,000, and they will train you and get you going.
Yeah.
You can try to do it on your own, but honestly, I think you're going to stumble and you're going to waste time and money. With starting any business, you need to be successful fairly quickly to make it work. And if you hire someone, you can be successful within 3 to 6 months in this
Right.
area.
Right. I agree for sure. For everybody watching this right now, and even Sue and I, we're both in business. We know that, like, making the right investments and hiring the right people can fast track your progress rather than trying it yourself. So if you're somebody watching this right now that's worried about investing, whether it's 10, 20, or 50,000, $100,000 into a business, if it's proven, I'd say go for it. Right? I mean, you can't just you could start it for little to no money, but without the right help, it's like, what's the point? Because like you mentioned, Sue, it's you need a little bit of quick success with any business for it to actually work long term, right? And I'm sure
Correct,
I'm
correct.
sure building enterprise value is a lot better once you've seen proven results as well, you know. But I'm
I
sure
think
that
if you want to get into yeah, I was going to say, Jed, if you want to get into the placement business, I think you still need to consider at least 20 to
yeah,
$25,000 to get into it.
right,
To get a good CRM
mhm,
system, there are two or three out there that are good. One in particular that's very good. You need a good CRM system. You need the training, and you'll need at least 2 to 3 months to get your territory set up. And if you don't set your territory up properly, you're not going to be able to function
right,
properly.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, and I think that goes with probably 9 out of 10 businesses that we could talk about. Like most of them, like you have to have everything, structured, the right help, the right capital for it to actually work, and obviously the work ethic. But for you specifically, Sue, now, of course, no path is easy, right? Of course, I mean, maybe, yeah, you seeing success within a few months with your placement business seemed like, oh, that's pretty cool. But let's look at the past, 10, 15 years before that when you were in corporate America, like you mentioned. Do you feel like your path when starting your placement business was maybe a little bit smoother than most just because of your past experience in corporate America?
Because I already had a tremendous background in sales and marketing. So I had a skill set that was already developed. I knew sort of how to write a marketing plan, which was important to do. I knew the importance of networking. So as soon as I set up my franchise, the first thing I did was I joined things like the Chamber of Commerce. I got involved with the local groups that were meeting with senior groups, so that I got to know everybody in my area that were in the home care industries. And, I knew how to market to the various facilities and communities, and how to have a conversation with them. I created an e-newsletter. I have over 500 in my slow newsletter, over 500 people in my San Luis Obispo newsletter that I communicate with every 3 weeks. And I have about a 40% open rate on my newsletter, because I'm providing them with updates on the senior care industry and what's going on and what's important. So, that learning that I had from my days in the pharmaceutical industry and my training as an MBA, et cetera, all came with me when I started my business. And, coupled with my training from the franchise, really helped to make my business successful.
Yeah, I I could see definitely how like your sales and marketing and everything else that you have translated over to that, right? But I'm sure there were still a little bit of struggles when starting the placement business, right? Could you what would you say were some of the biggest obstacles or struggles early on that you kind of had to get over with your placement business? Or I mean, what even challenges do you still face right now as you grow?
Right. Well, there definitely are some key struggles that the industry faces now and that I faced then, and even today, even more so now. One of the key ones is the online services that compete with us.
Right.
We, as live placement agents, provide a concierge service, a personalized concierge service. I actually go and meet with my clients. I often pick them up and I drive them, especially if they're seniors and they don't drive themselves. I pick them up and I take them to appointments. I personally visited all 110 facilities in my area. I know the layout of the homes. I know the personality of the residents, etc. But the online agencies don't know any of this. What they do is they simply take in an intake and they blast out the names to all of the homes, whether they're appropriate or not, vacant or not. And they also, just simply send a list of names to the client and don't really guide them, curate the list, tour them, do the follow up. They don't get all the 602 reports and things like that. So we provided a personalized concierge service, and the online agencies are don't do any of this,
Right.
and they charge a fortune compared to what we do.
Right.
So dealing with caring.com and a place for mom is a nightmare. And every time I see an ad on television for a place for a mom, I want to scream. The
Yeah.
only thing I can say that it does for us is it does elevate the fact that there are placement services out there. But it is challenging, because when people go online searching for placement and places, these services come to the top of search. And we, as placement agents, can't afford to be at the top of search. We don't have the search engine budgets to be at the
Yeah.
top of search. And so It's tough to get our names known out there, Jet. We need
Yeah.
resources like this, what you're doing, to help get the word out there that the concierge service, like we offer, which is free. That's a
Yeah.
very important thing. My services are free to the family. I get reimbursed through the care facilities. There's no charge for my service.
Right. No, yeah, and like you mentioned, those other ones that are, like a place for mom. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I seen it a lot a few years ago. Expect well, maybe because I don't watch TV anymore, right? But when I was a younger kid, I would watch TV. I'd see all these commercials about this and this and this, and a number to call or talk to a live agent, and then they try to, sell you on for, 10, 15 grand, or even more sometimes. Um, or some would be like, $600 a month or something like that. But the thing is, for you guys, not only is it more luxury, I would say, honestly, like it's more high touch and like you're doing the better thing, right? For a free cost, right? There's no cost, right? It's free, right? And you guys
Right.
obviously get reimbursed through the other people, right? Which is what I really love because you guys actually care about the people you're helping and not just in it for the money. But that's
Correct.
awesome. What would you say the goal is for the next, 6 to 12 months with your placement business, Sue?
Right now is just to continually provide good quality service for my clients, continue to maintain my stellar reputation out there, just to be available to answer questions about the things that are coming up. I mean, although I say I've worked with 1,000 clients in the past 11 years, that's really probably the placements that I've done. I've probably worked with 3,000 clients,
Yeah.
2,000 that I haven't been able to place for one reason or another. And that might be because I get calls every week that people have $1,400 of Social Security. That's their only income, and they need a placement.
Yeah.
And that's a big challenge that we face, Jet. There is a gap right now between people's income and where placement starts.
Right.
Across California, it starts at about $3,000 a month, $3,500 a month, for a shared room in a
Really.
six-bed board and care facility,
Wow.
or something like that is about the price of a studio in an independent living community.
Right.
So, and it goes up from there. So, people that come to me with $1,400 a month in Social Security, I have to have a conversation with them about, is there family that you can work with that can subsidize you, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, we've got that as a problem. The other problem we face in California is if they're on Medi-Cal, they would like to get into a community, and we have what's called the assisted living waiver program. But at the moment, it has run out of funding. And so it's not really accepting a lot of people at this stage. I encourage people to go onto the Assisted Living Waiver Program website, and on the left-hand side, there is a link to the agencies that are working with that program. And I say, contact them, get on their wait list, because if beds open up, they will let you know, but it's probably 6 months to 2 years before they're going to get a waiver program bed.
Yeah.
So for people that are in Medi-Cal, there's big challenges in terms of them getting a bed in California. So we face a lot of struggles and challenges in California for people that don't have at least about $4,000 to $5,000 a month to invest in placement.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing I was seeing on there. You guys like save a lot of time and headaches for families all the time. And finance is huge as well, which comes with the headaches. But that was one of the biggest things that stood out to me. It was not only that you had all of this experience, but it was what you're doing with that experience. I have, just your approach for saving family, time, money, headaches, all of that. It just allows them to get into a place, see what's available, see if it's a fit for them. If they do get in and they decide to go with you guys, they don't have to, put 4 or 5 grand a month into something, which is awesome for sure. So
Yeah, I try to make it easy for them. I can reduce their time to placement significantly because they're not calling around trying to reach care facilities, trying to get appointments, etc. I know who has availability, who doesn't, where they'll be a fit. If they come to me and they have issues that they have diabetes or they need a Hoyer lift or a two-person transfer or different things like this that are challenges, I know which communities and facilities in the area are going to be able to help with the issues that they face, and they're not going to waste their time calling around and getting no, 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 no. So I can just simplify the situation for them.
yeah,
I think one of the big challenges we also face, though, is clients that go rogue. They start working with us, and then they suddenly decide to start calling places on their own. And the thing that people have to realize is that because our services are free, they do have to work through us. I don't make people sign a contract with me. Some agents do. I don't do that. I trust them to put their faith and their themselves in my hands, but I do need to work with them through the whole process in order to get paid, because if they
yeah,
go off on their own and start calling facilities on their own, I can't get paid
right,
because my name has to be on their record.
right,
So I just implore people allow me the courtesy of working for them and with them, and allow me to make it happen for them. I can do it. I can negotiate the best rates. I can get them, a great price. I can get them a great location,
yeah.
and I can, definitely, satisfy their needs.
Absolutely. No, yeah. I respect businesses like yours a lot more than most of them these days, right? There's a lot of businesses I respect, and I like probably everybody that's been on this podcast. I've been grateful to have people on that, or I've been blessed, and I am grateful to have people on that have really good businesses and that are actually trying to help other individuals, right? And obviously, at the end of the day, I don't know like the back end stuff or what they're actually doing, but I definitely have the discernment, and I can feel, who's right and who's in the wrong, But with what you guys do it's awesome, and I would encourage anybody watching this right now to go click the links in the description, go check out her stuff. It's awesome. She has not only a ton of experience, but she's using that experience in a good way. Like we see it in business a ton of times, and I'm sure you've seen it way more than I have, Sue. People using their experience in the wrong type of way just to get a quick buck. That's not what I'm about, and I don't believe anybody else should be about, right? So
Absolutely.
I like to ask every entrepreneur, business owner this kind of question, and sometimes I even ask my friends or family about these certain things we're doing. But if you had, let's say you had like a magic wand, right? This magic wand could fix anything in the business, doesn't matter what it is. What would that one thing be that the magic wand could fix?
Well, let's see. I think the thing right now would probably be to fix perhaps the rate that we're paid, because that has been impacted significantly in the past 11 years. I won't kind of go into the details, but it has been chipped away at, significantly. And, for us to be able to stay in business and do what we do and offer the level of service that we offer, we do need to make a certain amount of money. And, so I guess if I could, I'd wave my magic wand and kind of, get back to a better rate than we're probably at
Yeah,
these days. Um, and then just the other thing that I think is kind of an interesting thing to share is that there's actually no government oversight in terms of this particular profession. We've tried to get some government oversight, but there isn't. There's no license required. There is, like, I am a CSA, a certified senior advisor, and that is an accreditation that I have sought and that a lot of people in our industry seek, there's probably at least 900 of us across the country that are certified senior advisors, CSAs. And then there's also in this group called the National Placement and Referral Alliance, NPRA. They also have an accreditation that you can get. So interesting that there's not really a lot of regulation around what we do. And I guess
Yeah.
that would be another sort of magic wand thing that I would say, that it would be great to have sort of a standard there, because I know for myself, I have a high standard, and I have a group of people across the country that I refer to that I know have a great standard. If they work for certain franchises, I know they have a high standard, and certain people that I've gotten to know have a very high standard. But it would be good to know that there was a benchmark that was needed to be met in this industry. That would be
Right.
sort of two magic wand things.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love when people share more than one magic wand thing, right? Just because it's gives whole insight on everything that you're kind of thinking, and the behind the scenes of what you're thinking in the business. And yeah, I agree with what you said though, just because quite a bit of industries have a lot of people that probably don't have the right credibility. Honestly, like they shouldn't be an authority just because they haven't experienced or done the right things necessary to get to that position. Like you've done a lot to be able to get to where you are now. And I respect people like that. But what I don't respect is people just getting into something for a quick buck, once again, but also people who should not be a authority position. Right. It just doesn't make sense to me when people are in an authority position and there's no credibility behind that. They haven't
Right.
really done the
Very
right thing.
much so.
Right. But before we wrap things up, I like to do a quick fire round with everybody. Just a couple of questions. The first one, what is your favorite book or podcast?
Ooh, wow. I I don't do listen to that many podcasts yet, although I am going to, because as I move towards retirement, which is, in this window ahead of me,
Right.
the coming year or so, um, I am thinking about definitely getting into podcasts, because I think they're really, very, very convenient.
Mhm.
Favorite book? Well, I don't have a favorite, but I do have, some books on uh, authors.
Mm.
There's some authors that I really like. One of the authors is Teepa Snow. I want to just put her name out there.
Okay.
She is a trainer about dementia and Alzheimer's. And I'm sure she has books, but she has a lot of training courses and things like that. And there's a couple of other ladies that have written books that I have on my shelf. And so if people did want referrals of any books on how to talk to your loved ones about Alzheimer's and dementia, feel free to email me. You can go to my site for my email address, and I can give you the name of a couple of books that are great for helping with that communication, which is so, so important, because dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia is such a challenge. So I
Absolutely.
guess that's what I would say,
Yeah.
are some favorites.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. Anybody who's looking for that type of thing or interested, make sure to email her to get that author's name or book or whatever, just because there is people who are dealing with that, and not only the people and individuals, but also the individuals' families, so um, yeah. But let's see, what's a tool that you can't live without? This could be in person, online, business related, personal related, anything.
Tool that I can't live without, besides my phone,
Right.
because that is
Yeah.
that I think we all can't live without.
Right.
Well, let's see. Well, I'm a wine lover, and one of the
Okay.
tools that that I have is, it's called the wine a Tascadero wine passport, and on the weekends, I always have that in my purse because if we're at loose ends, there's about 60 wineries in there, and we can always pop into one and we get a free wine tasting. So that's definitely one of my personal tools I can't live without. So, yeah.
You heard it here, everybody. Sue's a big wine taster. She loves that. Love
A
that wine.
girl needs to have a little bit of fun on the side, that's for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but yeah, but other than that, if I talk about business things, I guess the other tool that I can't live without is what I call my family pack. And that is when I meet with a family, I have a lovely little folder and it has the top 20 questions to ask when you go on tour. On the left-hand side, it has your move-in checklist, everything you'll need for your move-in. It has my brochure. It has my CSA brochure, which talks about my credentials, my business card, a jar opener, a pen, and post-it notes. And my families really appreciate having that little family pack, and it has little printouts of all of the facilities that we're going to visit with photos and descriptions. So it's a nice little folder for people to have that will, help them with the placement process.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be another tool.
Yeah. No, I like that for sure. Last one. Let's see. This is can I go both ways? What's a myth or like a lie in your industry specifically that you would like to, bust, just get rid of completely?
Oh, the biggest one is you get paid by the facilities. So you're probably taking us to the facility that you get paid the most for. And that is a total myth. I mean, I never even think about what commission rate I'm going to get paid.
Yeah.
For me, what is most important is being the perfect matchmaker and making sure two recommendations or three or four or whatever will be the right fit. And then, we'll go from there. In terms of having to place people again because I got it wrong the first time, out of 1,000, I think I've had to redo it twice in out of 1,000. So
Yeah.
I've got it right 998 times.
Yeah.
No, I think the biggest myth is that I just go for the where I'm going to get the highest commission. It's like, no.
Yeah.
In fact, I place someone in a place that's $6,500 a month because that's going to allow them to stay there for 6 years because that's going to meet their budget better than choosing a $10,000 place because they're going to run out of money in
Right.
4 years. So I
Yeah.
have always done the most ethical thing.
No, yeah, I respect that
So
a ton, and I'm sure you make. I'm sure you make that.
that's
Well,
my
you made
myth
it
bust.
aware. On I like that for sure. Well, you made it aware here to me, and then all my viewers and everybody who sees this now and in the future. Um, but I'm sure you make that. I'm sure you guys do a great job of making that aware on your website and when you talk to people that like, hey, we're not just trying to get, uh, you know, highest paid commission off of you. We're trying to actually set you or your family up for, something that's going to be right and the good fit, right? Which is
Absolutely.
how it should be. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay. Wow. I hope I've just got to get going because I've got to get somewhere for 10 o'clock. So I hope
yeah,
I've
me as well.
answered all your questions.
No worries. Yeah, but before we wrap, Sue, where can people follow your work or learn more or connect with you? I'll put everything in the description, but if you just want to say it out.
Okay, absolutely. Well, people can find information about me at slgseniorcare.com. That's S like Sue, L like Lima, G like good. Just my initials. Sounds crazy, but that's the name of my website, slgseniorcare.com, 415-656-6869, or email me at sue at slgseniorcare.com. that's the best way to find information about me online. And I've got a Google page as well. If you
Okay.
just Google me, you're going to find my Google page up
Yep.
there, and that'll send a link to my site. So
Yeah.
please do look at my site, send me an email, ask me questions. All my advice is free. Start asking me questions before it gets urgent, and I can help set you up for success, can help educate you. I can share resources, contacts with you. I have a plethora of resources, from financial planners to move managers to estate planning attorneys, whatever you need. So please reach out to me. And my resources extend beyond SLO County to, across the US. So,
Yeah.
just reach out to me.
For sure. You heard it here, everybody. Go check that out in the description. One more thing, Sue. Sorry, I don't want to keep you too long, but one more
Okay.
question. Now, for everybody watching, what is one action or piece of advice you would give to everybody right now watching this?
I would say don't wait till there's a crisis. Act sooner rather than later, because when you're in crisis with your loved one, that is challenging for everyone. So if you're thinking about placement, just get information and be prepared. Don't wait till there's a fall or someone's in the hospital or they're walking out the door. Start sooner.
Start sooner, everybody. Get it done. If you're thinking about it, go talk to Sue, go contact her, go check out her website, go do it right now. Don't put it behind. It's not worth it. So, all right. So, well, once again, thanks for getting on. It's been awesome. Everybody else watching, I appreciate you guys watching. Go check out the other videos. Go check out Sue's stuff. It's been awesome. I got some great takeaways. I'm sure everybody else did as well. But thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Jeff. Have a
Cool.
great day.
Have a great day, Sue. God bless.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.